All right, welcome back to my channel. I'm tackling another balustrade job. And once again, I've run into things I've never run into before. Everyone is different. So this old railing here, I'm going to guess is about 20 years old or so, done by the original builders. And it was a little bit of a challenge. The post itself was out of plumb by at least half an inch, maybe more. I did consider doing box newel for this situation and just slide it down, but it's so out of plumb that it wasn't really an option. So what I've discovered is that they've mortised the bottom of the post, and they've made a really big mortise because this stair stringer is about 3/8 of an inch out of plumb itself, and it's kind of cupped. So I can't mortise a post onto here, and I'll just walk you through what I've done here and how I've set things up. All right, so this laser level will show you how much out of plumb that stringer is. And of course the stairs are all done, so we can't really correct that. I could correct it by milling it down, but this stringer is only 1.5 inches wide to begin with. So if I did that, I'd have like a 3/4 inch stringer to mortise over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, again, using my laser level, I'm going to cut it off plumb. And this is something that this will be the first time doing this with a laser level, and I don't know why I didn't do it before. I've got a hole cut in the floor, and I've got a double joist here. So I'm going to make a lap post, slide that down into the existing hole. I'm sort of confined by the hole in the tiles so that I can't really depart from the original plan here. I'm going to slide a lap post down to the bottom of the joist, and with the plywood that comes to 8.25 of an inch. And then I've used a piece of OSB, just a random piece of 8-foot stock, because it's an 8-foot railing. I've got the OSB laying on the stair nosings to establish my rake, and my rake will be at the front of the post, and I've measured up, and that is 7.75 of an inch from the rake line down to the plywood, and then another 8.25 inches down to the bottom of the joist, and I will lap that and attach them with glue and heavy-duty lag bolt. All right, so here's the view from underneath the stairs. That's my hole, and that's where I'm going to lap that post onto the double joist. So I can use about a 5-inch lag, a couple of 5-inch lags, and some flooring adhesive, and it will hold really solid as long as I get it plumb. That's the main thing. And I just wanted to show you a little bit of what I do here. I've got these moving mats set up on the floor. This is my workspace for the next 4 or 5 days. That's the bathroom there, so I can go in and out and underneath the stairs without taking my boots off and so on and so forth. And I just wanted to let you know that all these things take time, and then when you're setting up your job site, this is, all part of the game, and it adds to how long things take. And I will mention that incandescent light bulb can burn rug. Don't ask me how I know that. So I'm using an LED bulb in there. All right, so this time I'm not using a story pole. I'll just show you how I do it with a tape measure and a burn 1 tape measure and a regular tape measure. First, I've done my math. I've got 8.25 for the joist space. Now that's how far the lap post will drop into the floor. 7 3/4 from the top of the plywood to the rake line, which is 16 inches, and then 37 from the rake line to the top of the railing, because they're going to add 1-inch thick oak treads later on, and then a 2.5-inch reveal. So in other words, there would be 2.5 inches of the post above where the railing joins. So this is just like a number I think looks nice. It doesn't need to be 2.5. That's just something I've sort of settled on as a a nice dimension. Our total length of our post should be 55.5 inches. So 37 plus 16 is 53 plus a 2.5-inch reveal. So now I've got it mapped out. I've got my burn 1 tape measure taped on at the 2.5-inch reveal mark. 37 inches down is the rake line. So that is just an imaginary line, but we just need to know that number. 7 3/4 down from that will be where I notch the post. And this is the side that I'll be notching. The face of the post lying on the bench is the side of the post that's going to face the doorway. And then from that mark down 8 1/4 gets me to 55.5 overall length, 53 from my reveal line. And that's how you can do this without using a story pole. All right, so what I've done on my lunch break is I took this little piece of scrap newel post, cut it on the bandsaw, gave myself 1.5 inches for the lap onto the staircase, and set that into place. And it turns out that that lap needs to be about 1/8 or 3/16 smaller, or in other words, the amount of material I take away has to be less. And this piece here, this tongue, has to be thicker. So there's an example of the beauty of taking 5 minutes and cutting a scrap piece of wood to see if it'll work for this kind of process. All right, so I've zipped back to the shop to cut this on the bandsaw. If you had a number of these to do, a bandsaw would be a good thing to bring to the job site. So I'm just going to run this through the bandsaw and then take it back to the job site and see if it fits. All right, let's go see if this bad boy fits. Well, it looks like it'll go. I might have to use a persuader on it, but it's gonna go. All right, good. All right, so let's see if that'll do the trick. It's hanging up on something. Can't figure out what it's hanging up on. All right, there. Just had to trim a bit off the plywood, and that is looking pretty darn good. Perfect. Take two, as they say in the movies. Okay. All right, so that's that newel post done. Another interesting little project, and there's more to do on this railing, as you can see, and I look forward to bringing you more great videos on stair railing and stair building. Take care, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.